Okay, time for homework. If you watched the notes video, I noticed I did kind of look back a couple times. It gets a little muffled. Sorry about that. I'm not sure why. It's a new computer, so it shouldn't sound muffled like that. Okay, so for the first one, graph each linear inequality. So if you see this word, that should say to you, oh, I need to do some shading like this, okay? Equations don't have shading, inequalities do. On the Regents exam, they will ask you to graph two of these, 100%, not 100%, 98%, most of the time they ask you to. Okay, so we graph it like we would a regular linear equation. We have a slope of 5/3, which means we're going up 5 and then right 3. Our b value is -4, so we're going to plot our first point down here. And it's a solid line because it's less than or equal to, so the equal sign makes it solid. And we're going to shade below because it's less than. You can also pick your test point, 0, 0. So if you plug in 0, 0, is 0 less than or equal to 5/3 times 0 minus 4? 0 is not less than or equal to -4. So we know that that's not going to be a point. Okay, so let's graph. We're going to go, we're down at -4. We're going up 5 and over 3. Up 5 and over 1, 2, 3. We're going to have a solid line. I'm going to do some phantom points here. Another one down there. Oh, that's terrible. So come down. Now, if you remember that less than means you shade below, you would go here. If you use the test point 0, 0, you know it's not a solution, so you've got to make sure to shade so it's not in there. Okay, next one. Slope is -1/2, so that means go down 1 and right 2. Our b value is 7, so we can plot our first point up here at 7. And we're going to be dashed because there's no equal sign. Greater than means we're going to shade above. So like when the rain comes from above, it hits the top of the line. So we're going to go down 1 and right 2. Now my suggestion is please, please, please try these on your own first. It's not going to help you just watching me do it. You have to be able to do them on your own. So try them first, and if you get stuck, then come back and watch the video. And if you didn't get stuck, then just fast forward. Okay, so we're dashed. Did my best without a straight edge. We're going to shade above. Because when it rains from above. You can also do that test point too, 0, 0, because it's not on the line, so you can use that. So we would test to see if that's a point. We already know it's not because we graphed above. So 0 is not greater than 7. Okay, so 0, 0 would not be a solution. A point over here like 4, 7 would be a solution. 5, or no, this is 8, 4 would be a solution. No points on the dashed line would be a solution. So everything in the shaded region is a solution. Okay, number 3, we have to solve for y. So I'll move 2x over by subtracting it from both sides. Y is less than -2x plus 1. So my slope is -2, which means I'm going to go down 2 and right 1. My b value is +1. I'm going to be a dashed line because there's no equal sign in that inequality. So we're up at 1. I'm going to go down 2 and right 1. Remember, you can still put this in your graphing calculator into y equals so that you can get those points to plot. It's not going to tell you whether you're dashed or solid, but it'll at least give you the points to plot if you're still stuck on graphing linear equations. Now, if you do 0, 0, test it out. Is 0 less than 1? Yes, it is. So that's why you shade this way, because 0, 0 is right there. You can also remember that you shade below because it's less than. I'm gonna drink of water real quick. Okay, number 2. Pause the video, try to solve for y, make sure you get it right. Okay, so we got 2x minus 5y is greater than or equal to 30. So I'm going to subtract 2x. Negative 5y is greater than or equal to negative 2x plus 30. Divide by negative 5. So y is less than or equal to 2/5 x minus 6. So our slope is 2/5. It's positive, so I'm going to go up 2 and then write 5. B is negative 6. We're a solid boundary line because it's less than or equal to. And we're going to shade below because it's less than. I feel like we've done a lot of belows. So our first point's down here at negative 6. I'm going to go up 2 and write 5. Up 2 and write 5. Solid line. Oh, I can go back 5 and down 2 also. And I'm going to shade below. So 0, 0 wouldn't be solution to this inequality. Okay, we got some more Hoy boxes. We got a box here and a Hoy here. So x is greater than negative 6. We're going to be dashed. And vertical. I don't know why the coordinate plane didn't come out so well, but I'm going to estimate. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. That looks about right. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -6. I can't talk today. There we go. Now, all values of x that are greater than -6 are going to be this way. Think about positive numbers. So all of these points in that area, so everything in here is going to have an x value that's greater than -6. You could really, like, you could just list a bunch. 10, -2, doesn't even matter what y is. 11, 5, 0, 2, all of these would be solutions, plus, and then some. Okay, y is less than or equal to 1. So this is a horizontal line. And it's solid because it's less than or equal to, it's got part of an equal sign, at 1. So a horizontal line that's solid when y is equal to 1. But now all of the points in the solution set have y values less than 1. So think of negative y values. All the negative y values would be down here. So any of the points down there are going to be a solution. Okay, now some Regents questions. Which inequality is represented in the graph shown? So pause it, see if you can answer it without me. Do that for each of them. I'll give you a second so you have a second to pause. Well, we can see here our b value is 4. And our slope is negative, down 3/1. So it looks like C and D are out, A and B are in. So we've shaded above. So that's going to be greater than or equal to. Now the other thing you can do is 0, 0 is not a solution. These problems get kind of confusing for people. 0, 0 isn't a solution. So if you weren't sure which to pick of A and B, plug in 0, 0. So say we plug in 0, 0 to B. If 0, 0 works, then that's not your answer. Because in this graph, 0, 0 is not a solution. So is 0 less than or equal to 4? It is, which means if this was the graph, we would have had to shade the other way. And because it works for this one, then that can't be the answer. Now, if you plug 0, 0 in here, 0 is not greater than 4, which makes sense because if 0 is not greater than 4, you don't shade where 0, 0 is because it's not a solution. Okay, which inequality is represented by the accompanying graph? This was a Regents problem. Oh boy. Okay, y is, it's got to be y is something because it's a horizontal line, but look, it's dashed. You can immediately eliminate C and D. Now think about all the points that are in this shaded region here. Are those y values going to be less than 3 or greater than 3? You can always pick a point too. Like that. That's the point 3 comma 0. Well, 0 is less than 3. So it's got to be A. And you can also think too, it was shaded below less than or equal to is below. Okay. Which graph represents the solution? 3y minus 9 is less than or equal to 6x. Again, you can eliminate these two because they're dashed. It's less than or equal to. You can use the same method that we did up here for number 7 and pick the point 0, 0 and see if it works. And then based on that, if it doesn't work, then you know, because 0, 0 is either in or out of these solutions. So I'll show you what I mean. If you plug in 0 here, you get -9 is less than or equal to 0, which is true. So if it's true, it means that you're going to shade where 0, 0 is. So for this inequality, the point 0, 0 works, which means you need to shade in the direction that 0, 0 is, so that the solution set contains 0, 0. So that would be your answer. I hope that makes sense. Okay, you could also solve for y too. Wait, which inequality is represented by the graph below? Doesn't look like we can eliminate any based on the type of line that we have. We have a solid line. They're all less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So let's think about our slope and our b value because those are different for the two. So slope is positive. Oh, we can eliminate those guys. Our b value is -3. Okay, so it's got to be either 1 or 2. Now you might start memorizing that if it's above, greater than or equal to is above, less than or equal to is below. So it would be 2. But you can also do the test point. So 0, 0 is in the solution set, which means that if we plug in 0, 0 and it works, that's your answer. So let's see why the first one won't work and why it's not the answer. So if I plug in 0, 0, is 0 less than or equal to -3? No. So it's not a solution to that one, which means you wouldn't be able to shade in that way, in that direction. So that's why 1 is out. And is that it? Okay. Never mind. I know I said that really anytime you're for number 9, you should always solve for y first. Most of the time that's the case, but you could also do the test point like I just showed you. Okie dokie. Bye guys.